Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. If it's noon on Tuesday, you know it is Thinking Tuesday. So thank you for joining me. Welcome to Thinking Tuesday, where we are guided by the motto Your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. On Thinking Tuesday, we speak about growing positive mindsets, about possibility thinking, rooting out those negative self limiting thinking, those thoughts that keep us from living the life that we are capable of living. That's the whole goal of Thinking Tuesday. So, thank you for joining us. We are about supporting that we are all fully resourced to be, do, and have what we desire as we aspire to be those persons that we would like to become. We concentrate on how we think because we know that everything begins with our thoughts. Our thoughts drive our feelings and they drive our behaviors. So we have to be aware of our thinking and where it's taking us. So today I want to share with you about leadership. You know, that's the buzzword. Everybody's talking about leadership. It seems like everyone knows someone who is a leader. When they think about leadership, a lot of people think about a position that a person is in. Perhaps it might be your supervisor, it could be the CEO of a company or a business, a president of the United States, it's a leader, our senators, our congresspeople, um, teachers are leaders. Anyone who is in charge of something, we look at them as leaders. Usually they have a title. But today I want you to think about leadership from a different perspective. I want you to think about yourself as a leader. Yes, you as a leader. You might be surprised that I'm saying this because I don't know you. I might know some of you who are listening, but I don't know many of you who might be listening. But I can say that you are a leader because leadership is not necessarily positional. You don't always have to have a title, but leadership is relational. Leadership is all about influence. So as you think about who do you have in your circles that you influence, that tells you that you are a leader in those situations. You might be a parent, you are a leader. You're a leader of your family. You're influencing your children. So I want us to think today not about leadership necessarily because you have a certain title. And of course, yeah, mothers have titles, fathers have titles. But many times you don't see yourself as leaders, but you are the leaders in your home. It is not necessarily related to some title that others give us, like some that I mentioned earlier. In fact, you might know many people who have influence who might not carry a title, but they have influence in their circles or even on the job. Many times we know that there is that person on the job who does not really have a title, but they have a lot of influence over what goes on at work, who people are listening to. Many times they would listen to someone who has more experience than a new boss who just comes in. And maybe they're younger, and some people might not think that they have the kind of experience or they can relate to them as well. So I'm sure you know someone. Think about when you were in school. I remember when I was in school, and the teacher might have been out sick. And so there was a substitute. And unfortunately, many students believe that when the regular teacher is out, it's a field day because the substitute is only coming in for one day. But think about if you remember that particular student, and I remember some myself, who became an influencer, became a leader, trying to keep order and help the substitute to have a good day and to be able to do the work that the regular teacher would have done. So you don't have to have a title to be a leader. You just have to be able to influence. So I'm sure you remember some of those days when you were in school as well. That one student, it might have been you, who tried to keep order to help the substitute conduct the class in a very orderly fashion. So, according to John Maxwell, who is considered a guru in leadership training, he says leadership is influence, nothing less, nothing more. If you can influence, then you can lead. So if you think about your various circles, it might be your religious circles, your social circles, your civic circles, even in your family. Who are you influencing? Or who you could be? Or who could you be an influencer for? Perhaps you were a Girl Scout or maybe a Boy Scout, and you now see the need to engage youth in your community, in your neighborhood, with some constructive activities. And Lord knows that a lot of kids need guidance these days. How can you influence the youth in your neighborhood? Or you might notice that there's an increasing number of elderly people in your apartment building or in your neighborhood. How can you become an influencer, a leader, by meeting the needs that you see around you? That's how leadership develops also, by influencing others in your circle, by meeting a need. You don't have to be voted into that position, but if you see the need, you meet the need. That's part of leadership as well. But why would you want to become a leader? Why does anyone want to become a leader? The main reason should be about changing lives. A leader should not aspire to lead out of self-aggrandizement, but mainly to influence others for their betterment. You don't push yourself on people, but you try to influence them. Great leaders have the ability to be humble, compassionate, and open to hear opinions of others, but they're also visionaries. They have a vision of how things could be and how to influence others to help them develop and attain that vision. But no matter how clear your vision is as a leader, others will not buy into your vision unless they buy into you. So you can have the greatest vision, but you have to be the type of leader that others want to follow. This brings me to another perspective of what leadership is. I'd like you to consider not just being a leader of other people, but a self-leader. You cannot be an influencer, you cannot be a leader without first being able to lead yourself. You have to know how to lead yourself before you try to lead others. So what areas of your life are you leading well? How are you leading in your personal health and wellness? That's self-leadership. Are you eating well? Are you eating the right foods? Are you exercising weekly, if not daily? I know busy schedules sometimes don't allow for daily exercise, but some form of exercise, at least on a weekly basis. Are you trying to keep track of your numbers? Do you know your numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol level, your heart rate? All of those things are part of self-leadership. How are you leading with your relationships at work, perhaps? In your home, in your social circles, in those organizations that you might belong to? Are you reflecting on how your thoughts are taking you? Are they self-affirming? Are they self-limiting? That's part of self-leadership also. Tuning into your thoughts to see where they're leading you. Are you cultivating an attitude of possibilities, a can-do attitude, as opposed to an attitude of timidity or fear or closed-mindedness, that's certainly part of self-leadership. And of all the different aspects of leadership, self-leadership is the most important. No one is born a leader. We hear people talking about, oh yeah, he's a born leader and she's a born leader, but no one is born a leader, even though some might have more of a propensity for leadership than others. But leaders are grown. Everyone can learn to be a leader and then learn to lead others. It is not automatic. Leadership has to be cultivated. And since leadership is also based on influence, it does not depend on your age. Because as you see, some young people are leading now. They know, for instance, technology that some of the older folks, the seniors, don't know. So they're leaders. So it has nothing to do with age. And then the reverse, we know that unfortunately, many young people see the advice given by older people as old-fashioned. But older people have wisdom, they have experience, they can still be leaders. So age has nothing to do with whether or not you can be a leader. It's never too late to become a leader. So I want to leave you with these questions for you to reflect on as you think about leadership. How do you rate your self-leadership? If you never thought about self-leadership before today, start thinking about that, because how you lead your life is your self-leadership. In what areas can you improve in your self-leadership? Because everything is not going to be 100%, but we can strive for that. So what areas, as you reflect on your self-leadership, what areas of your self-leadership might be lacking? Where can you improve them? And where can you influence others with your skills, your abilities, and your knowledge? Because everyone has something to contribute. And then lastly, do you recognize that you are a leader in any situation, organization, circles of influence where you might not carry an official title? Because you might be leading without really knowing. So think about situations that you might be in, organizations that you are part of, where you don't have an official title, but you are a leader. In closing, I want you to be aware that even if you don't consider yourself a leader, others might see you as such. So even if you don't consider yourself as a leader, others might consider you as such. So self-leadership is very, very important because someone is always watching you. That can be a good thing, and that can be a bad thing. Make sure that your self-leadership is one that you can be proud of, because you never know who you're indirectly influencing. Someone is always watching. So I thank you for tuning in today. I hope that you would share this with someone who can benefit from it. I encourage you to do that, because when you find something of value, you should share it. My previous Thinking Tuesday messages, as you know, are on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. And speaking of leadership, I would like to invite you to visit my website, drcherylburton.com, to see an invitation to join me and several other speakers on a leadership experience tour on Saturday, October 29th at the Michigan State University in Detroit, Michigan. This is an opportunity for you to hear several speakers with messages that will motivate you. There are of self-leadership and other leadership, and how do you develop those leadership qualities and see those leadership qualities in you that you might not be aware of. It motivates you to continue your growth journey and to begin to think of opportunities that you can leverage to allow yourself to become the leader that you aspire to be, whether in your personal or in your professional life. You can attend virtually, and the virtual ticket will allow you to receive a replay if you're not able to view the event in real time. So I look forward to seeing you there. I hope you will join us. It should be a rich experience. I'm looking forward to it. And I will be speaking about some of the things that you heard and some new things that I have developed, outside of Thinking Tuesday, but it's all related. I look forward to meeting you right here next Tuesday at noon for another Thinking Tuesday message. Remember, while you're on my website, please review the messages and the services and the programs that I offer. You can also request a complimentary consultation. So take care. Have a wonderful day. Remember, you are a leader. Self-leadership comes first, but you are a leader as long as you're an influencer. So take care of yourself, lead well, and we'll see you next Tuesday at noon for another message on Thinking Tuesday. Take care. Have a wonderful day.